Well, thanks everybody for coming on very short notice too. Friends, colleagues, constituents, and to every Newfoundlander and Labradorian. 5 years ago, I decided with Allison and our family to step into politics and to earn your trust and support to become the 14th Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador. From the dark days of the pandemic to the brighter future now confirmed by signing the MOU that redefined Churchill Falls. It has been a wild and unexpected journey right from the start to bring us here to today, to the finish. It is with a heart full of pride and hard-earned confidence in the future of Newfoundland and Labrador that I must now move on. Almost exactly 5 years ago to the day, I started my campaign with the admission to each and every one of you that I am not a career politician. I had a list of what I wanted to accomplish, goals that as a proud Newfoundlander and Labradorian, I know I shared with all of you. And through the highs and the lows, bright moments and blind sides, history made and past wrongs rewritten, I feel that what we have accomplished together will no doubt be a rock-solid foundation for our province moving forward. I could only leave knowing that that fact is true. A modern Newfoundland and Labrador built on our traditions, built by our ingenuity and endless drive, is now within our reach. Over the past 5 years, together, we saw our way through the adversity of COVID-19. We took on the mayhem created by the weight of the Muskrat Falls disaster and the potential of doubling electricity bills. For those writing us off as bankrupt and futureless, we showed them what being a fighting Newfoundlander and Labradorian was all about. For the first time since 1971, our K-12 population increased, and we actually reversed the shrinking population trend. We took bold steps forward in a new relationship with Indigenous people. We are transforming and modernizing our healthcare system with new models and new tools. Right now, more than 70,000 people are connected to family care teams, an idea that didn't exist 5 years ago. Today, it means that you can access your chart on your phone or primary care virtually on your phone. And $10 a day childcare spots, 5 years ago, they were the grand sum total of 0. Today, there are over 11,000 of those spots. We supported and accelerated our oil and gas industry, including fighting to save the Terra Nova and the Beta Nor project. We broadened the world's imagination by harnessing the potential of our endless wind resources and consolidating our place as an East Coast powerhouse. Our small but mighty province took a unique approach to supporting Ukrainians after Russia invaded 3 years ago, setting up a desk in Poland to help them come here to create a new home. As we mark that grim anniversary of the start of the war, we also celebrate the first government-sponsored plane full of Ukrainians to come to Canada here in Newfoundland and Labrador, landing right here in our home to create their new homes. And perhaps most significantly, we have written a bold new chapter on Churchill Falls, one that fills the provincial coffers with billions of dollars today, not 17 years from now. Personally, acting as next of kin for an unknown soldier, a fallen son of Newfoundland and Labrador, stands as my proudest moment. That gray, moody day, the procession down Water Street, the silence that fell over our city, it is something that my family and I will never forget. Stepping into the role as Premier, I saw how this job comes with decisions that could, with the benefit of time, perhaps be made differently. But this I know for certain. Every single decision was made for you, and you alone. Every Newfoundlander and Labradorian. For the collective of who we are and for the possibility of who we can be. My friends, this job has been like one 5-year-long shift. You are always on. You are never off. You are with everyone for the celebrations, but often alone with the weight of the hardest calls. You go to bed with it on your mind, and it's your wake-up call every single morning. It's the responsibility you accept because a tremendous trust has been placed in you to be there, to make the best decisions, to make those hard choices. 5 years is a long time. When I started, none of my kids were even in high school. And now I have one getting ready to finish first year at university. Much has changed in all of our lives, but my commitment to my wife, to my children, and to all of you to not be a career politician has not changed. As a family, we've decided that as exciting as it is for a potential another election, we could not commit to another full term, which would not be fair to you. You deserve and should demand that honesty and full commitment from all who pursue your trust. Now, I know these are uncertain times, and that the threat of tariffs and the erratic, unpredictable behavior of the American president is causing daily stress and even fear. I wish I could tell you that this is a short-term concern. Unfortunately, it is the reality not just of the next 4 weeks or 4 months, but the next 4 years. But we have survived much worse. We've persevered through harder times, and we are in the best possible position to do so again. The energy that we have is the energy the world needs right now, and that will only get stronger moving forward. But now the time has come for me to return to my family and to the job that I love in the operating room, where I will continue to serve the people of this province in a different way. As a result, I've asked the party to begin a leadership race to replace me. This will be consistent with the electoral timing rules and will allow the accommodation for the one-year rule that, as you know, requires a general election within 1 year of a new leader. I felt it was important to you, the people of the province, and to my constituents, that I not run only to leave months later, triggering yet another expensive general election. The province, each and every one of you, and the party do not need that. Politics is indeed a team effort, and I've been fortunate with a caucus who are committed to making a real difference. The challenges that we have faced together, the victories that we have celebrated, and the impact we have made would not have been possible without each and every one of you. Your dedication, your friendship, your hard work, and resilience continue to inspire me to this day. It is this team that will continue to govern and continue to set a bright, prosperous agenda for the future of Newfoundland and Labrador. To Allison, now I'm going to pull a Gretzky moment here. I said to Mess I wouldn't do this. To Allison, to Maggie, Rachel, and Mark, to my mom and dad, and to my entire family, I am eternally grateful for your support, advice, patience, and devotion. To my friends, to my staff, the incredible people of Humber Grove Smorn, for welcoming me, a stranger, with open arms and giving me the privilege to call your communities home. My caucus, the incredible civil service, the unsung heroes of Newfoundland and Labrador, you are simply the best in the country. To the special people of the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, and most importantly, to each and every one of you at home. Over the past 5 years, I've had the great fortune to visit every corner of our beautiful province, to meet, speak with, listen to, understand, and share ideas with so many Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. That's where I've drawn the energy and the inspiration to fight for this place. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your trust, and I hope that you are collectively proud of what we have accomplished together. We have paved a path that honors our history, strengthens our present, and has built a foundation for a brighter future, for those who will one day stand where we stand now. God bless the beautiful people of this province, and God guard thee, Newfoundland and Labrador.
Andrew Furey, tell us what went into this decision today. Why not?
It was really very much good. It was the fact the mic wasn't on. No, it was the balance of family combined with the electoral timing rules and what I felt was best for the stability of the province. Of course, for people watching from away, they might not understand because Newfoundland is different in that if there is a change of leadership during a sitting government, then it triggers an election within a year. And so in the balance of our family and what we've given in 5 years, 5 years is a long time, and then looking forward to the next 3 years, felt that this was the most stable thing to do, the most responsible thing to do for the people of the province.
Are you staying on until another leader?
Yes.
It was just a few weeks ago, Premier, I asked if you were going to be running in Humber-Gross-Morin again. You seem to be excited about another election. Something happened between then and now. What's going on?
The context of the question is, would I run somewhere else? And I was always committed to running for the people of Humber-Gross-Morin. They put their faith in me right away as a stranger, and I welcomed it and I cherished it, and they put their trust in me. So I would never have run somewhere else. That's what I meant by that answer. But things change, and the weight of the family and the balance, and you look forward, and we were all focused on the MOU of Churchill Falls and doing what was right there, and then you get to take a breath and get some downtime with the family, albeit not very long. But really, my wife Allison and I came to the decision probably around Valentine's Day weekend, and then wanted to sit on it to make sure that it was the right decision, and that's what brought us here tonight.
Are you considering a federal election?
No, not at this time.
Premier, you mentioned tariffs. You talked about Churchill Falls MOU. I'm just curious about the timing of this decision in the context of tariffs and in the context of that MOU not getting across the finish line.
Sure. So first of all, the MOU is across the finish line. The next stage is definitive agreements. But point taken. So with respect to, let me deal with tariffs first. One thing is certain is the uncertainty with President Trump. It's not going to be a 4-day thing. It's not going to be a 4-month issue. This is going to be almost a permanent tenure issue. So we're looking at 4 years of erratic, crazy, bonkers behavior by the President of the United States. So I thought that the tariff thing was going to be solved in days, and maybe that would have changed things. But this is going to be a pervasive problem for Canadians for 4 years. And I do think that Canadians have to take it seriously, but not ever let it erode our identity, our unity, and our sovereignty. With respect to the MOU, we tackled the MOU very differently than Muskrat Falls, for example. We made an announcement about it, we put it in the public arena, we had public debate on it, we had public forums on it, then we brought it to the House of Assembly to see if we should advance it with experts on the floor. On top of that, we set up an independent oversight panel, which has been announced and is functioning now. The Indigenous tables have been set and are functioning now, and the negotiating team is set and is functioning now. So that will be, a year's worth of work. So all of that is playing in the timing of our decision as a family as to what we can commit to moving forward. We're very honored and blessed and I'd be lying if I said, like, this comes with very mixed emotions, you know? Like, we've enjoyed every second of this, the ups and the downs. But, you know, in the balance of time and looking at how these guys have grown, it's the right decision right now. Advancing 2 years from now, if you know what I mean. You can't think about where you are, you have to think about where you're going to be.
I'll ask that question again. Are you done with elected politics, or even politics where you might get appointed to somebody? Or are you?
No, look, I love politics, but at this point, given their ages, given my family's position, elected politics is not in the immediate future.
Do you have a successor in mind? Anyone that you would endorse?
No, I think it's problematic when a leaving leader puts their hands on somebody else, so I'm not going to make any comment about that.
What do you hope your legacy will be? What do you want to be remembered?
Well, when you think about what we've attacked and accomplished in 5 years, I hope the legacy is one of pace, that we accomplished a great deal. Whether that's in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic, everyone forgets about that now, but I took over in the middle of a pandemic. We had some of the best responses in the entire world here in Newfoundland and Labrador. I had a very I had a set of priorities that I wanted to make progress on, including the population decline. As a physician and an epidemiologist, I saw that was one of the kind of key challenges of the province. Now we're turning the corner on that. We've seen quarter after quarter growth, reversing the demographic issue, tackling the debt, starting with a $2.2 billion deficit down to a $200 million deficit, starting a future fund, being responsible, I know the federal government gets credit for childcare, but we were out ahead of that. $25 a day childcare, then went to $10 a day. Full transformation of the healthcare system, all the entities under one roof, Nalcor no more, saving the Terra Nova, saving Beta Nor, doing rate mitigation. I mean, all of you were asking me the questions of what are we going to do when our electricity bills double? Because the electricity bills didn't double, no one seems to remember that we did a $5 billion deal to prevent that from happening, mitigate rates. We reset some of the Indigenous relationships, albeit through COVID and then beyond. So there is a legacy of pace, and then what I hope my true legacy is not. I think you think I'm going to say Churchill Falls, but it is really, which is transformational. It's not only nation building; it is province changing, generational. It will truly change who we are as a people. But for me, I hope my legacy is returning one of our own home and helping close that wound from 1916. I still get emotional thinking about it and talking about it, and it was that's a legacy piece. Someone said to me after it was done, well, you know, that's a once-in-a-lifetime event that just happened. And the answer my response was, it's not a once-in-a-lifetime, that's a once-and-forever, and I was very honored to be given the privilege to do that.
So how does it work from?
To what degree was volatility south of the border?
Not much. I mean, once it became certain that it was just going to be continuously uncertain, then that I think allowed us as a family to make the decision with more freedom. If I thought that this was going to be over on March 1st, April 4th, then obviously that would have influenced our timelines potentially a little bit. But it's clear, right? Like the guy's cracked. I mean, maybe I can speak more freely now. But like he wakes up one morning and says something, water, cars. Tomorrow it's going to be tuna. Who knows? It's just that's how erratic and confusing it is. Which is why I think the Canadian response needs to be calm, cool, measured, balanced, but responsive, standing up to this bully, an erratic bully.
And so how does it unfold from here in terms of a new leader, a new premier?
So the party officials will meet. I met with the president of the party and the vice president of the party about an hour or so ago. They will meet and they will determine a process. There'll be a nomination period for people to put their names forward. And then depending on the results of that, there'll be a vote and then a new premier.
What do you have to say to Newfoundlanders who are feeling anxious right now, especially you're stepping down during such tumultuous times?
As I suggested, I mean, these are tumultuous times that are going to be pervasive and persistent. And I think if we had been doing this on February 1st, people would have been very, very anxious. But it seems to be settling into everybody now that this guy is a maniac, and whatever he says one day is not going to be accurate the next day, and makes promises, breaks promises, makes agreements, tears them up. Like, so people have to understand that is going to be pervasive, and it's going to be consistent, and it will last the full 4 years. So while I can understand there is anxiety, there is no question that whoever will take over from me will also feel the challenge, but the pride in tackling that challenge on behalf of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians.
You said no more elected politics. Would you consider a role within the health department or health services?
Yeah, I said no more elected politics in the immediate term. What I said, no. I mean, if we rewind and think about 5 years ago, one of the first questions was asked in a scrum like this was, what are you going to do with your medical practice? And the answer was, I'm not a career politician. I intend to go back to practicing medicine. And then, some of the opposition rhetoric became, well, how can you be a part-time premier? But I've maintained my license, and I maintained my passion and energy for the premier's role. I love helping people of the province individually fix their broken bones, help them learn to walk again, fix their shoulders, fix their knees, see them on the streets a year later after a car accident. There's some here in this audience even today. And that is a truly special job that I'm looking forward to getting back to.
And before starting in politics, you had some non-medical business interests. Do you think you'll get back into that world as well?
Well, let's see where this next chapter and next adventure takes us as a family. I loved my work with Broken Earth. We created that charity out of nothing, and it's grown to be providing medical relief all around the world. I wasn't able to talk about it as premier because I thought it would be not in the charity's best interest. I never used it as a selling point to get elected, but it is something I'm passionate about and looking forward to kind of helping with again. But then, I'm always interested in private business roles as well.
There might be some critics who will say that you're leaving now because maybe you felt you couldn't win the next election. What do you say to those critics?
Look, the critics can look at the polls. They can, I'm not going to talk about the election strategy, but winning was never a variable in my decision making. I've never been afraid of a challenge. I've never been afraid to start from behind to win. I've never been afraid to roll up my sleeves and do the hard work. I've never been afraid of an opponent or of a challenge, and I believe in my heart that I know we were going to win. So that didn't factor into that was not a variable. Winning or losing was not a variable in this decision making whatsoever.
You've got a bit of time left on the job. What's left to do?
I would really like to help start the diversification of our markets. It's something that I started even before the tariff threat with the Boston office. We looked at a crab rebranding exercise a year and a half ago, 2 years ago even. So I'd like to focus on that for the next couple of weeks to make sure that that's in a reasonable spot for anyone coming behind me, because I do think, regardless of this 4-year bully in the White House, it is wise economics, it is prudent, responsible decision making to diversify our markets. And I'd just like to play some part in starting that for the next person.
Will the House of Assembly open in a few weeks still? Or?
The House of Assembly is still on schedule to reopen. We'll have to do interim supply, and then have to talk to my caucus about what the next steps are.
Will you still be traveling to Japan, is it that I saw on the itinerary?
Well, those are decisions that we'll take in the next few days. But again, I'd love to be involved in the diversification of the markets, and I think it's important to set that table for whoever comes after us. Again, this is not going away. The threat isn't going away, so starting to work earlier is important. And there's great markets out there, I can tell you, from traveling to the UAE and stuff. In the past, our products are desired, they're sought after. We just need to do a bit better job of making sure we're there. And if you're not showing up, you're not there.
All right, we're going to ask Dr.
Yeah.
Allison Furey to step in now. I'm saying your name for the benefit of folks that may not know. 2 L's.
How are you feeling?
Well, I think that the province knows Andrew as somebody who gives 150%, and he's done that for the last 5 years in this role as premier. And I'm feeling a little bit of relief. I'm feeling a little bit of sadness and nostalgia, and I think our future is bright. I think he's left this place in a better spot than he found it, and we're very proud of him.
How tough has it been for your family to have him serve in the province as opposed to being a medical professional and a dad and a husband?
Well, again, he's a person that gives 150%, so it's not new that he's away, but the pressure and the weight of this job is felt deeply in our household, and he has been away, and our kids have grown up in front of our eyes, and it's time for us to get back to being unit of the five.
What was that conversation like on Valentine's Day weekend? Did you say enough is enough?
No.
Or how did it unfold?
No, I did not say enough is enough. I said that we needed to. Well, he said it pretty well. The stars have aligned. There's times that you have to take opportunities, and this was the time. The time was right.
Politics in your future?
No. You all know that.
We're all good? Yes. Perfect. Thank you all so much. Appreciate
I just have
it.
one more comment. I'd just like to thank all of you guys. I know it's there's the regular friction and the push and pull, but I've always found the press corps here to be fair, balanced. In the interviews, I'm going to let you in on all secret. I have not read a single story or watched a single piece of news or listened to radio since I started this job 5 years ago. It's something I look forward to doing again, but I always appreciated the respect that was brought forward. So thank you.
What are you going to do with the gas tax?
Talk to Cody. Thank you all.